The purpose of this tutorial is to give an extremely brief overview of what organic compounds are. Organic versus inorganic. In the 18th century, compounds from living things were called organic. Compounds from non-living things were called inorganic. Organic compounds easily decompose and could not be made in the 18th century lab. We can make them now, however. Inorganic compounds, contrary to that, are very difficult to decompose. They're very, very stable, but they can easily be made in lab. So organic compounds are made mainly of carbon and hydrogen. Sometimes they also include oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, and trace amounts of other elements, meaning extremely small amounts. Minimal. The main element that is the focus of organic chemistry is carbon. And that's because carbon is so unique. Carbon atoms bond almost exclusively covalent. If there is a chance of it being an ionic bond, it's generally considered inorganic at that point. When carbon does form bonds, it forms 4 bonds. It could be 4 single, 2 double, 1 triple, and 1 single, or any other combination, as long as it totals 4. Carbon is unique in that it can form limitless chains of carbon atoms. So in other words, the carbon can be bonded to itself multiple times. And remember, each carbon has 4 bonds, so it can stem this way as well. It can be in a straight or branch. When they're referring to branch, they're referring to it being broken down like this and it just going everywhere, like a tree. And rings of carbon, so it can actually form circles, because each carbon can form, once again, 4 bonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 main categories of organic compounds. There's hydrocarbons and functionalized hydrocarbons, which means that they have a functional group within them. And the functional group itself will be what dictates how the carbon reacts. Hydrocarbons contain only carbon and hydrogen. The functional groups are the ones that contain the oxygen and the nitrogen and sulfur and so on. So let's take a look at some common hydrocarbons. Methane is 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens, and that's the component of natural gas. Then if you have a gas grill, you're burning propane. Notice there's 3 carbons in a chain. If you use lighters to light the grill, you're probably lighting it with a butane lighter that has 4 carbons. Gasoline has pentane in it. It also has octane in it. Ethene is used to ripen grapes. Notice that even though it's a double bond here, we have 1, 2 lines here, then 3, 4. It still has 4 lines. Every single one of these have carbon with 4 lines attached. And then ethine is for welding torches. Once again, 3 lines going between them, and then another line here to make 4. And that's your extremely brief overview of what organic compounds are.